How about it, America? Shall we go back to being a Christian nation or not? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is another declaration of truth from your host, Terry A. Hurlbut. The sad death of Elizabeth II, Queen of the United Kingdom, has given human beings everywhere an unusual opportunity to reflect. That applies not only to the loyal subjects of the new king, Charles III, but to all Westerners, and arguably to all other human beings also. It applies because the king, in his days as Prince of Wales, went on record as not ready to be defender of the faith. In fact, if you go directly to the website for the Prince of Wales, you can find his statement to that effect. Here in America, in contrast to the United Kingdom, our citizens must choose to defend the Christian faith or not. And I intend to show today that not only is the Christian faith worth defending, but its defense is a moral imperative. Before I begin, I do want to shout out to the prime sponsor of this channel, which is Conservative News and Views, link in the description. Be sure to check out the awesome CNAV Store. Scroll down near the bottom for that link. Lots of great merchandise there, especially this t-shirt that I have chosen for today, which depicts Dr. Albert Einstein saying, "The more I study science, the more I believe in God." Let that sink in, ladies and gentlemen. Now, one more thing. If you like what you're about to hear, you can then like this video. You can also click the bell icon to get a notice every time I come out with a new one. In fact, do you see the new icon, the heart shape with the US dollar sign in it? That's the super thanks icon. If you really want to keep these videos coming, click that and leave me a tip. Any currency will do. Now, first and most obvious, defending the Christian faith involves resisting attacks on it. Christian faith and precept have definitely been under attack in America since 1875. In that year, Representative James G. Blaine of Maine, Speaker of the House, proposed to amend the United States Constitution to attack faith directly. Though his amendment failed, he then persuaded 38 states to adopt their own Blaine amendments. Ironically, those states did not include Maine. Those amendments provided that not $1, not one penny of tax funds would ever go to a religious or religiously affiliated institution. Even a program offering subsidies or similar assistance to various institutions must exclude those with any religious connection, just by reason of that religious connection. Happily, the Supreme Court in Carson versus Macon repudiated that stance. At issue was not a state constitutional amendment, but a state law to that effect in the context of schooling. 2 Christian households sued the state, and eventually the Supreme Court forbade the state to discriminate against them. But more to the point, the Supreme Court forbids any state to discriminate against Christian parents or institutions. Under Article 6, Clause 2 of the Constitution, that ought to end the matter. It hasn't, because Christians don't know their rights, nor appreciate the justice of their cause. They don't appreciate the justice of their cause because generations of post-Blaine civics instructors have taught them wrong. Such instructors cite Thomas Jefferson's letter to the Danbury Baptist Association in 1802. I've left a link to it in the description. In it, Jefferson said the establishment and free exercises clauses of the First Amendment, taken together, and I quote, built a wall of separation between church and state, close quote. Unquote, Thomas Jefferson. Now, if the rest of the letter advocated for atheism, one could interpret that as James G. Blaine must have, and as Roger Baldwin, founder of the American Civil Liberties Union, also did. Which means government must not only not have a Church of America, but also the government must lend no credence whatsoever to any suggestion that Christianity or any other faith represents truth. This has led the federal government and many state governments to act as if faith is prima facie evidence of a delusional state. And in case you've forgotten, prima facie means at first view, or as in this case, the government presumes you are crazy until you prove you are sane. Thus, a believer becomes a danger to himself and others, and under no circumstances should anyone listen to him. But the rest of the letter does not support that kind of take. Jefferson also said, to paraphrase that, religion is between God and any human being. A human being is accountable to no one else concerning worship so long as he harms no one else. And governments may forbid actions but never opinions. These points do not advocate atheism, nor imply that faith or worship per se present danger to self or others. Now, even if detractors of faith don't want to lock you up, or at least don't dare say out loud that they want to lock you up, they do say, we do not legislate morality. That statement has no foundation. What is morality anyway? Morality comes from values. Any decision you make depends on value. Values often compete, which means you can't have everything at once. You have to trade off. So, let's look at the bedrock principles of Christian and Jewish faith, the Ten Commandments. Start with the most obvious one, the one with which the fewest people disagree, the Sixth Commandment. This says you may not take a human life without just cause. Now, in the debate that ended with the repeal of the 18th Amendment, or prohibition, no one at the time proposed repealing any of the statutes that say that you can't take a life. And even today, no one has yet proposed to let someone go on taking lives without consequence, well, at least not adult or born child lives. Now, that's a debate for another time. Now, why not? Isn't the Sixth Commandment just another moral preference, like the Seventh Commandment that immediately follows it? And then, the Ninth Commandment, the one against lying about one another, forms the basis for our adversarial court system. When you break the Ninth Amendment in a law court, that is perjury. Judges put people in jail for that, and no one questions the general power of judges to do this. Now, before I get into how important the Ten Commandments, and especially the last 5, are to a working society, I want to shout out to a sponsor who can really help you through the economic storms to come. That sponsor is oursilverlines.com. Do you feel like you're working hard for your money just to get by? You're not alone. The fluctuating economy, employment issues, and unexpected changes in life have left many families struggling over the past few years. Collecting gold and silver can help shield you against many of these challenges. But if you're like me many years ago, you don't know where or how to start. Our Silver Lines helps by connecting you with thousands of members who are learning the secrets to creating and protecting true wealth by collecting precious metals. How? Do you just want to collect rare and unique coins? Or would you like to take advantage of the business opportunities this company provides? Either way, they can help you learn to live an exceptional life. Visit oursilverlines.com to learn how you can build a legacy for your future. Now then, I put it to you that the Ten Commandments, and especially the last 5, protect all who live under them. This might seem strange to some people, especially given the lack of moral instruction in, shall we say, Monday through Friday school. But every one of the 5, even the 7th, protects a thing of value. The 6th commandment protects your life. The 7th, your marriage. And the 8th, your worldly goods. The 9th protects you not only in a court of law, but also in the court of public opinion. That is also why any society affords some protection for you if someone tells outright lies about you in or out of court. Lastly, the 10th commandment sets a clearer boundary between yours and theirs. Sadly, too many of our modern laws break one or more of these commandments. Even the 6th commandment is not immune. In Illinois, they've got this new law they call the Safety Act. And beginning next January, if someone takes a life on the spur of the moment, just gets mad and, well, authorities will certainly have to let him walk free without bail. Now that's the clearest attack yet on the 6th commandment. Now so far, that part of the Safety Act doesn't apply to those who plan in advance to take lives. Now our country's divorce laws today have set the 7th commandment at naught. Courts don't even consider breaches of that commandment to be a legal injury that they may address. The 8th and 9th commandments seem to lose more of their force every day. Welfare laws constitute institutional theft. When you take from some for the unearned, unpaid benefit of others, you have stolen from them. The outlaws Jesse and Frank James made themselves folk heroes through such behavior. Now Robin Hood arguably had justification. He stole back what Norman noblemen had themselves stolen from others. But now we hear the argument that if you have more than another, you must have stolen it from that other, or else your ancestor stole it from his ancestor. Either way, we see political candidates and legislators legitimizing theft and upholding covetousness as a political virtue. Part of this springs from a woeful misunderstanding of several of the teachings of Jesus Christ. Jesus is not a socialist, but people infer socialism from frequent attacks he made against the rich people of his day. They forget that those people often did come by their riches less than honestly or honorably. Hey, we're talking about the days of ancient Rome! And worse, this was during some of Rome's worst excesses. Not that any of this matters, because the same people now legitimizing theft and covetousness also discriminate against houses of worship and their regular attendees. The 9th commandment has suffered the most curious attack of all. We see authorities now applying it selectively. They accuse their political opponents of lies that they never told and excuse the lies others tell about those same opponents. Now, obviously, a Christian society would never contemplate such abuses nor tolerate them. Christian precept tells us that taking life for no better reason than anger or covetousness is wrong. It also tells us that marriage is a sacred relationship upon which no one may intrude. Likewise, it denounces theft, lying, including perjury, libel, and slander, and covetousness as wrongs against everyone. Now, one living in a truly Christian society would live under laws affording him or her far greater protection than is available today. So where does that leave the critics? What sort of society are they defending? Now, one could argue that they're not defending society at all, but only a collection of bullies. So the following maxim is true and correct, though in a sense radically different from that in which the late Rod Serling wrote it. A permissive society cannot exist. Certainly no society that permits the things that the last 5 of the 10 commandments forbid can long endure. The first 5 of the 10 commandments stand on whether you believe that God is or is not. Now that's a debate for another day. But now you know why Representative Lauren Boebert of Colorado said the church must direct the government, not the other way around, and why Christian governance is an ideal, and why I recently asked Christians to seize their present opportunity. Links to the description of this article, to the Danbury Baptist Letter, and to Conservative News and Views. I've also left links to the awesome CNAV Store and to oursilverlives.com, as I also mentioned. You know already about how to like a video, turn on notifications, and leave a tip. On the end screen, I'm going to leave a subscribe link and links to earlier videos telling you what issues I believe are important this midterms, apart from the conduct of any elected official or officials, including the President. This is Terry A. Hurlbut delivering another declaration of truth and reminding you to let the truth set you free.